am absolutely terrified, not of seeing something online that I don't like, not of seeing some material that I think maybe should be banned, for example, and hope that the authorities do it, but I'm very fearful of living in a world where some faceless individual in an ivory tower in Whitehall, or dare I say it, the Ofcom offices, gets to decide what is and isn't offensive. I find that tyrannical.
I mean, I completely agree with you. I think it is really hard to establish what exactly is and isn't offensive. And as you pointed out before, certain things that can be offensive to some people might not be offensive to others. I mean, let's point to the example of the recent musical video of Taylor Swift, in which she shows herself standing on a scale which says fat. Many people have been offended by this, resulting in Taylor Swift ultimately removing this from her musical video. But at the end of the day, what she was trying to communicate is that she, like many other women across the globe, is fighting with the narratives of what a beautiful woman should look like. So in this case, while some people have been offended by what she's done, other people have felt that a very famous, prominent individual is also partaking in the same problem as they are. So in that sense, I think this online safety bill is trying to make a healthy balance, whereby it doesn't try to establish what, is and isn't offensive. At the same time, it allows people to choose what their feed is going to look like, because now people can alter the content that they're going to get exposed to. But at the end of the day, and this is the most important thing, the children are protected.
Yeah, look, every single person can agree that people want children to be protected online, and the online world can be a bit like the Wild West. You can't absolutely put it under lock and key. Dare I say it, maybe parents should for once take a little bit of personal responsibility and check what their children are viewing online, put their own kind of protections there, or, goodness gracious me, maybe enforce some rules at home, like you're not allowed on social media. Why does the government have to step in to do it? But my main concern with this is that if it fell into the wrong hands, like, for example, Justin Trudeau in Canada, then before you know it, someone just having a view that differs from the government's view on something could find themselves slapped with a fine or have their bank accounts frozen or be criminalised. And I don't really want to live in that world.
No, I think what this online safety bill is basically saying, look, we have a legislation that clearly says these things are legal and these things are illegal. Those things have been agreed upon, in democratic countries with democratically elected governments. And clearly this online safety bill is very explicitly going to prohibit such content, which in turn basically means that you can't have arbitrary decisions made by individuals as to whether something is or isn't offensive and whether someone's account should or shouldn't be removed. And I think, in fact, this is giving more power to the people rather than the tech companies who could just arbitrarily decide, let's remove this or let's not remove that.
Yeah. But this is why I don't think something like, it's legal but harmful would work, because there's a complete sliding scale on this stuff. For example, I found the Balenciaga stuff, if everyone's not aware of it, I mean, it was an advertising campaign from a fashion brand that some have accused it would appear to promote things like, child pornography and child sexual exploitation. Of course, Balenciaga would deny all of this stuff, although it's difficult to see how they would. But that seemed to not get got a bit of pushback. But celebrities on that have still maintained their links with Balenciaga. If that had been someone saying, women, trans men aren't men or whatever, then they would have pulled back from that. It's a sliding scale of what people find offensive, isn't it? And I don't really think we can live in that world, because who makes those rules?
No, absolutely. I think it is. I mean, at the end of the day, whether or not you find something offensive is so strongly dependent upon your personal experiences, the way you grew up, your cultural and other kinds of background. And subsequently, if we were to say, let's restrict everything that could potentially be offensive, we wouldn't be able to talk about anything, because anything can potentially be offensive.
But it would be sorry to interrupt, but it would be on the woke brigade's turn.